What's going on, guys? Okay, so this video I'm going to launch a new campaign and we're going to run a prostate offer. We're actually going to test a prostate offer. So this initial phase, the start is going to be building out test campaigns, and I am going to build out test campaigns. The structure I'm going for is 1-1-3. One campaign, one ad set, 3 ads. Now this is specific to each concept that I test. And I think I am going to test approximately, I think we're going to start with 8 concepts. So that'll be 8 campaigns, all at CBO, all in this structure. So each campaign will have 1 ad set with 3 ads. Each campaign will represent its own individual concept. And then obviously the 3 ads will all be relevant to that concept. However, I think most of the ones that we're going to test or start with are just opening hooks, whether they're visual or the text is different, okay? So same script for each concept. So we've got, we'll have a few different scripts. Anyway, we'll get into it as we go. Daily budget's $2.99. Not really sure why I'm going with that $2.99. I think what I'm thinking here is Facebook, or in my, well, not even opinion, maybe opinion, not really experience, but every time I put a higher budget, my CPMs are already up, etc., etc. However, I don't want to be super low. Like, I don't really want to run at $5 a day because it's going to take me forever to actually get some scale. And I also, don't want to run at $1,000 a day because then them CPMs are going to come creeping in. I at least at first want to get some data before I start creeping that budget. $300 is a good little number to start with, I think, to test a concept, because it gives that, 3x, 3x our target CPA, which is around $100. I've got it as 110 here, but let's say it's $100. It gives us 3x that, and also we've got 3 ads there as well, which in an ideal world will spread evenly, $100 each ad. Obviously, it's not going to spend like that, but it's there in case, right? Basically, each ad has enough spend to show itself, is what I'm getting at. Now, the idea here is I'm going to be aggressive. So let's just put game plan is going to be aggressive trim, okay, or kill. Aggressive whatever, right? Aggressive kill. So we're like, if a campaign doesn't show itself within the first $100, I'm killing it. It's getting turned off. That's what I'm allowing it, right? So that's why I'm going a little bit more, and maybe we will launch more campaigns or concepts instead of 8, because what I'm thinking, if I'm going to be cutting at $100, I might need to launch 15 campaigns or concepts to be then, I've lost my train of thought, but you get what I'm saying, right? I launched that. Let's say I have to trim 10 of them. 10 get turned off. I've still got 5 on that are performing, right? And so that's the idea behind it. We'll see if that works out. The campaign URL, the headline I'm going to run with, and the primary text I'm going to run with as well. We're going from the woman's perspective. So let's jump into the ad account and let's start building this out. So create, going straight for the sale. I'm going to play around with a few things in this account as well, hopefully, if this campaign takes off. So we're going to say PS for prostate. And what are we going to do in here? We are going to do batch 1, concept 1. DB CBO. So the DB CBO basically meaning daily budget, campaign budget optimization, which is now known as ACB, or Advantage Campaign Budget Plus, which I don't like. So I'm just sticking with my CBO. I'm going to I'm going to turn on Advantage Campaign Budget Plus, aka CBO, and I'm going to stack this at $2.99. And we're going to change this to bid cap. Actually, don't remember if I've got my bid cap, just didn't talk about it. So bid cap, I'm going to do a 2 to 3x target CPA. So my target CPA is 110 in this account. So let's say Yeah, let's roll it 3x. Let's go heavy. So we'll put 330. But again, because I don't like anything on the nose, as in like right on a dot or rounded up, I'm gonna slightly underbid. So like instead of 330, we're gonna put 329.67, just because I like to put random numbers. There's literally no other reason to it. All right, so we've got that morning time. So it's still 2:52 a.m. right now in the ad account time zone. This ad account's good, so it'll be should be approved if they get approved pretty quick within a couple of hours, which isn't a bad thing. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, if it was any later, if I wasn't sure what the ad account was like, then I would probably schedule this for the following morning, just after midnight. And failing that, I'd just keep a very close eye on it. And if it gets to 5, 6 a.m. and it's still not been approved or serving traffic, I'd turn it off and just turn it back on the next morning. Okay. So let's add in some geos. So let's put in Canada. I'm not usually a big fan of Canada. Not like as in not a big fan of the country. I've never been, but not a big fan of the Canada market for these type of offers. Whether they're a little bit more savvy or just stingy, I don't know. But I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Canada, Australia. So I like to lump my, why is that not coming up? Lump my audiences together. I know some people like to test, US US only. Completely makes sense. But I don't like doing that. I like to lump my countries together. I'm not going to put the UK because, like Canada, in my experience, they are Scrooges. So we're going to stay away from them. Now, what we are going to do, I am going to put in a couple, let's put Puerto Rico. I'm going to put in a couple of European countries that I know love a good Nutra offer, especially anything to do with men's health. That's not the one that I wanted. Never mind. Sweden can come in. What is going on? I'll leave Sweden in. By the skin of their teeth, they've managed to make the cut. All right, so there is our geos. Now I'm going to keep this I'm going to keep this as Advantage Plus audience on. Surprisingly, I know I have in the past said to switch to original audience options, and I know a lot of people suggest that as well. However, I am seeing slightly better results from the suggestion. So what we can do, whatever I just click there, what did I just click? Like suggestions or optional or whatever it was. We can suggest where our audience is hanging out to Facebook. Facebook might show it to other people, might show it to women, might show it to 25-year-olds. The thing is, I would probably accurately say that Facebook have an idea as to what audience is going to convert on this type of offer, a prostate offer. They're going to look through the landing page. Sometimes they're going to go to the offer page and look through that. They're going to realize from the copy that this is probably catered towards the older demographic and probably the male demographic, right? So, all right, what was this? This was B1, C1, and we're going to do broad because we're not doing any targeting. We're going to do men, and we're going to do 40 plus, and we're going to do 15th of the 10th, 24. Okay, so there's our labeling, our convention, naming convention, sorry, and then everything else is good. So let's go and build the ad. So that's the page I'm going to run from. I'm not sure what creative we'll run with yet, what the ID is. 2 B10000000002. Let's grab our headline. And our primary text. It's got a couple extra line breaks that we don't want. All right, and then let's grab our campaign URL. I'm going to put watch more for the call to action, just because I prefer that to learn more. I'm going to paste that in there, and then for some reason it doesn't let me grab the root domain anymore. For those who know why I do this, because I don't want that subdomain underneath the URL, or underneath the ad image, sorry. And then I'm going to turn the browser add-ons off, because I don't want a phone button or a WhatsApp button or anything like that. All right, there we go. So there is our first ad built out. Now this was B10008. No, it wasn't 2. And headline is headline 1 and primary text 1. Okay, so let's go and duplicate this twice, because I'm going to add in 2 more. Remember, we're running 3 ads per ad set. I don't know what this was before I enter it in wrong. So it's 7 and then 11. So these are all the same concept. They're just going to be slightly different, whether it's the visuals are different or the hook text is different. So that's 7, and then we want 11. All right, so let's change video, and then there is 11. Boom. All right, so, you don't really need to watch me do this anymore. What I'm going to do, pretty simple. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to duplicate this campaign, and then I'm going to change the campaign name to Concept 2. And then in the ad set level, change this to Concept 2, and then I'm going to change all 3 ads. So you don't really need to watch me doing that. It's pretty boring and monotonous, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to publish it, and away we go. So I'll check back in. So again, to reiterate, I'm going to have, I don't know how many campaigns in total, probably around 10, let's say. And each campaign has 1 ad set, and each campaign represents a concept. And each campaign and ad set is going to have 3 individual ads, which are all relevant to the concept, but different variations of, okay? And then going to launch them. They're at bid cap, CBO, dogs barking. Going to have to go. So anyway, I'm going to publish the first campaign. I'm not going to publish the second one. Sorry, I'm going to duplicate these out, build them out. Dog is going to get throttled in a minute. So anyway, we're going to build out the rest of these campaigns, and then I'm going to publish them. So there's no point in making you hanging around and watching that. It's going to be pretty self-explanatory as it is. So we'll check back in the next couple of days and see what data we have.